What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ChuggieBets Podcast. We are going into what week is it? I think we're going into week
10?
10. I got Danny up top, Al to the side, Andy in the corner. And before we do anything, we've got to drink beer. So let's get it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets. It's good every time. What a great week in the NFL. The boys are finishing up. Everyone, we had a pretty solid week as far as performance. I know Al won his Chuggy bet. Danny and I did not win our Chuggy bets this week, which is unfortunate. But the winner of the week, I guess they were tied technically, Al and Andy, but Andy was more aggressive, so he wins the day. Andy, 4-2-2, won his Chuggy bet, won the top score of the week, and I'll let him start us off. Andy, what'd you learn this weekend in the NFL?
So it's not really in the NFL, but last week Al made a joke that I lose 2 games every week, and he's absolutely correct. In the 9 weeks of the season we've had so far, in 8 of them, I have 2 losses, including this week. The problem is this week I had two pushes as well, so I didn't do quite as well as I normally do with only 2 losses. But maybe I really do need to do what we did with the joke last week. I said I'm going to bet like 20 games and go 18-2. So yeah.
Spray the board.
Good learnings.
It's
Good learnings.
Andy. I don't know how you do it.
I don't either.
All right, Al, what'd you learn last week in the NFL?
I learned when you get Dolphins fans, Jaguars fans, and Lions fans together for the 1 o'clock slate, you parlay the money lines, because that's what we did. And a bunch of my buddies and I hit on a parlay. It was like plus 750. So that's a good way to start the day.
It's not bad.
So,
not bad.
yeah.
Who would have guessed that score if you're like, hey, the Lions win and the total's 24 points? I'm like, nah, not true. Not true at all.
Yeah.
You guys shut down Aaron Rodgers.
I wonder how many times those 3 teams have won on the same day.
Ooh,
or even just the Jags and Lions. That shit like never happens.
It never does.
Only
Danny,
on the Equinox.
What'd you learn in the NFL, bud?
I learned a couple of things. One, Justin Fields not nearly as bad as I thought he was to start the year.
No.
Bears made a couple of trades to bolster that offense, and they've let him start running around. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but when he is running the ball more, he is much more effective throwing the ball. The other thing I learned is Liberty's quarterback is better than Ryan Tannehill. Malik Willis. Malik Willis. That dude can play. He was dropping dimes all over the field, and Tennessee's receivers dropping them all over the field. So they miss AJ Brown. I'm telling you that. So yeah, the supporting
Traylon
cast
Burks isn't cutting it.
No, the supporting cast, I guess, sort of matters, which brings me back to a Tagovailoa. Supporting cast matters.
Did Malik Willis actually look really good? Because I didn't watch any of that game. I wasn't able to.
So he was not getting a ton of help, but like I said, he made some really, really great throws that like went right through some guys' hands. He made some good throws that were actually caught, and he looked confident. He looked like an NFL quarterback in his first start. So that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I agree. He didn't look awful. And yeah, a rookie in that situation could have looked really, really bad.
Yeah.
But it looks really bad if you're a box score watcher, right? Because you're like 5 of 17 or whatever the numbers were. He had so many nice wheel routes that hit wide receivers right in the hands. Balls went between receivers' hands all night. They probably should have won that game. And it was a good game. Tennessee's defense was awesome last night. Friggin' brutal.
He's also, I watched a bunch of Liberty games last year, and I knew he could run, but I didn't think that was going to translate to being a much better athlete than other NFL defenders, right? And he was faster than other guys, like everybody on the defense. It seemed like he was faster than NFL DBs, so that was pretty impressive.
It's like Derrick Henry in high school stiff arming little kids from like St. Mary's Prep. and then you're like, oh, but he's not going to do that in the NFL. And then you're like, oh, there he is stiff arming like Harrison Smith and then
Right.
ragdolling
Like
him.
so,
You're like, okay,
you see Leonard.
you're
You see Leonard.
just a monster.
Exactly. You see Leonard Fournette do that in the SEC, and you're like, oh, that's not going to translate to the NFL. And then it kind of like he's just okay. You know, he's still really good, but he's not like the best running back in the world in the NFL the way he was in the SEC. But then you see Derrick Henry do that at Alabama, and then he gets to the NFL, and you're like, oh, it's the same thing's going to happen. And he's like, you know, he still is much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
I learned that, Kirk Cousins packing guns on airplanes, boy. You see him at 4 o'clock, right? We know Kirk Cousins between 3:30 and 4. The guy is awesome. And then you see him between 4 and 4:30 in the press conference, and we went to like the Tim Duncan collection at JCPenney's in the taupe, like weird plaid shirts and khaki slacks that don't fit well. But you see him on that airplane after a big win with the chains on, your boy's looking good. No, he was much more ripped up than I thought. And then ESPN did some super cringy like comparison with Adam Schefter, and it was a bummer. It ruined a really beautiful moment on the internet. And I don't.
Do you have a link to that, Matt?
Yeah, I do.
That's a little too inside.
I'll include it in the description.
Listen,
you can shove it up your ass.
The best point you can make, the best argument you can make for Kirk Cousins in the 3:30, 4 o'clock window is, I don't know if you guys saw this. I assume you have, but the back judge playing safety and tackling the Vikings DBs so that the Commanders could make that a game, and yet the Vikings still able to pull it out. That's wild.
I don't know. That catch by Dalvin Cook was freaking amazing. Like he's getting pass interfered with. He needs one hand. He's like they're grabbing this arm, and he catches it with one hand. I mean, Kirk Cousins dropped a dime there, but that was a hell of a play.
No, dude, they're good. They're sneaky good, and I think they may not be as good as they think. They're a weird 7-1 team because you're like they're really good, but are they that good, or is that whole division absolute dog shit? It's a tough place to be. So yesterday we were talking about segments we could talk about, and Chris Collinsworth just dropped a gem right in our lap. He was talking about last night in the Chiefs-Titans game last night that if he had a choice in a game of tag, his first pick would be Kadarius Toney. We talked about this today, and we thought that was absolutely ludicrous because while Kadarius Toney is fast, he's a Florida athlete. There's a lot of positives there. He can't be on your top pick. So what I'm going to introduce to you, and we're going to introduce to you as a group, is a game of your tag team, right? We're going to pick 3 members of our tag. We're going to do it like a snake draft, and then whoever has the best tag team, I would love to see it in the comments or anything else that you have. Make sure you share and see who wins this game of tag. All right. Who would like to start? Anyone have a particular start? I'm going to start off with Andy. Go Andy, Al, Danny, and myself. Okay. You good there?
Love it.
Sounds
Andy,
good.
for your first pick, who do you want in a game of tag?
I'm going to be a total homer, and I am going to take who I believe is the fastest man in the NFL, Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's a good tagger.
Ain't nobody catching Tyreek.
Is there anything else? You think he's elusive? He can avoid tags too, probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The man's got moves. And it's just straight line speed. Like once he gets going, nobody's catching him.
He did get tripped up from behind by a white linebacker on Sunday, though. I did notice that. So I docked him. I docked him half a point for my rankings here, but he was still number 2 on my list. So top dog for me with pick number 2. I'm taking Lamar Jackson. Can't fucks with it.
Lamar Jackson's good. Matt,
Yeah.
Were you number 3 or was I number 3?
No,
You got number 3.
I'm number 3. I'm number 3. I mean, Lamar Jackson's a great choice, but my number 1 overall was Jonathan Taylor. He had 4 of the top 5 top-end clock speeds of anybody in the NFL last season. He just gets really underrated on the top-end speed. So, he's Danny, elusive as well.
You mentioned he's like super fucking fast, and I did not know that he was as fast as he is.
Yeah, he's people don't know, but he is. He's Jonathan Taylor, one of the fastest guys in the NFL. Everybody knows Raheem Mostert because everybody talks about the Dolphins guys, but Jonathan Taylor, He's up there, one of the fastest guys in the NFL.
He brought up my choice. I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert as my first pick. Incredible 200-meter speed, 100-meter. Hopefully he can shake off the rest of these tag teams. He's very fast, super quick. And you need to create a lead in tag. It's important to get a little bit of separation, because if all you're doing is cutting, it's like being chased like an alligator. Have you ever heard that? If you're being chased by an alligator, run side to side? Nah, straight line, son. Straight line. And my second one's Troy Apke, right? Real gym rat. Shows a lot of effort out there. Super. He's got a lot of potential. Good at the free throw line. All of those things. Troy Apke.
Hard worker.
Yeah, he's a lunch pail guy.
Lunch guy. He does all those things. He's dedicated to it. Wasn't necessarily born with it, but he's learned it. Danny, what you got?
I see what you did there, Matt. So with my second,
all of our listeners are Googling, who the fuck is Troy Apke?
Go look it up. First white cornerback in the NFL for the last 30 years.
with my second, were we gonna do old guys, or is it only guys playing now?
Only guys going now. We'll do old heads later.
And is it other sports, or does it have to be football?
Oh, if we're doing like all sports combined, I'm going to be pulling different names.
I think we're sticking with NFL for now. Maybe we'll do all sports in the
prepared.
offseason.
Oh, it has to be NFL, not like I can't do Mohamed Salah.
Yeah. Can't. Well,
that's football.
No. You can't do Mohamed Salah.
Oh, come on. He's got the best straight line speed of anybody. All right. He's like 23 miles an hour. All right. No John Bertie led the league in stolen bases.
No John Bertie.
My research is killing me. Marlins second baseman. It's the only thing we had. Donovan Mitchell, the 3/4 drill. He was the fastest speed. Nothing.
No Donovan Mitchell.
Save it for the offseason pod, bud.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna have to go with let's see. I'm gonna go Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain's son, really. It's Pat Surtain. Is he a junior? I think he's a junior.
Yeah, he's junior.
Yeah, it's Pat Surtain's son. That dude's fast.
And
he's playing corner.
I didn't even consider DBs in this. That's smart, actually.
Yeah, he's usually trying to chase other people, but you got to get the guys that can tag the guys also in tag. You need the people that can tag as well as the people who can avoid being tagged. So that's why I went with Pat Surtain.
Al, what you got, buddy?
Now that my whole brain has been blown by a whole half of the football that I hadn't even considered, I'll go ahead and take Justin Fields. There we go. Give me the two fastest, most elusive quarterbacks in the league. That's a good start to my team.
I don't know if Justin Fields is very fast, but I don't know if he gets number 2 anymore now that Malik is in there.
And Troy Apke's here. No, Justin Fields is thicker than I thought.
Show me on the field, buddy.
Justin Fields is thicker. When I watched that game yesterday, I didn't realize he was kind of like wide. I thought he was going to be a little more like thin in the frame, but dude looked great out there.
I got 2 perfect plays that sum up why Justin Fields probably should have been my first pick. One, hurdling Micah Parsons to avoid the tackle in which Micah Parsons then returned that fumble for a touchdown.
That means he's going to be really bad at tagging, though. Justin Fields terrible at tagging. Terrible at tagging.
Well, yeah, possibly. And then 2, his 60 or 70-yard touchdown run he had yesterday that looked like that looked way too easy. It was disgusting.
It was a joke.
He's gonna do that like twice next week.
Andy, what's your second pick? And you can do the wraparound.
Yeah, my wraparound in no particular order. I'm gonna take Deebo Samuel, and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, that's good.
A couple of fast, elusive guys. They're not
got a lot of size there.
They're not putting down their shoulders and running you over necessarily. They're dancing around you.
You got some size there with Alvin on your team too. That's good.
Yeah. Kamara and Deebo.
That's a good team. So Andy's team ends with Tyreek Hill, Kamara, and Deebo Samuel. It's pretty good.
A lot of elusivity there, but I don't know who you're going to get to tag anybody back once you guys are it.
We're never going to be it, ever.
You know, I feel like my team is lacking a little bit of
diversity.
No, well, I was going to say a little bit of grit.
You need some toughness?
like scruffy hobo beard. You really need to kind of lighten the load here. I'm gonna wrap things up with Cooper Cup.
Oh, Cooper Cup's a good one.
Cooper Cup's
Yeah.
getting caught. Cooper Cup's getting caught. The thing you get with Cooper Cup though is I think he's going to be good at tagging because he's got pretty long arms. Cooper Cup's got reach.
He does.
He's got that hard work, grinder, lunch pail mentality that
Gym rat.
only a guy like Troy Apke could really like understand.
Troy Apke understands the struggle.
They have the playbook memorized on the first day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
he
studying.
comes in,
There's a lot of coding.
no one's smarter. No one's
All right.
smarter than a guy like Cooper Cup.
There's some tough ones left here, but I got some good taggers on my team. I need somebody who can really get away,
Mhm.
This is hard. Deshaun Jackson is I need a good leader. That's what I need. I need a good leader on my team. Deshaun Jackson, he's been around a while. He's a vet and he's got the speed. Speed never goes away. He's got the elusivity. That's not going to go away. He's my veteran leader. That's going to be my guy. I'm going Deshaun Jackson.
Is he still in the league?
Yeah. I think
he scored like 2 80-yard touchdowns this year. That's what he's met his quota for the year.
Well, fair enough. Deshaun Jackson
for different teams, I think too. Just kidding.
My final pick is someone you're not going to want to tag at all. It's Deshaun Watson. He's fast, but if you touch him aggressively, you may get came on, and no one wants that at all. So that's my final pick, and that was who was your tag team? Now, I know it was a cringy. It was a cringy joke.
I thought you were going to say he's experienced at the reach around.
I mean, there's so many jokes. There's so many jokes. You don't want to touch him aggressively and not expect some retribution.
If you're listening and you found any joy in this,
either.
If you're listening and you found any joy in this, hit us up with your favorite tag team, top 3. Let us know whose team is the best. Obviously, it's mine, but
I gotta say, no. Matt's got the best team. Matt has the best tagger. He has the best guy he's number 1 at touching people who don't want to be touched.
He's the best at it. I mean, he's proven it time and time again. I look, everybody, we're not making light of the situation, right? Like, it's a joke.
We kind of are, but
but in the game of tag in the NFL, guys,
how light can we make it when the NFL is going to make it lighter?
If they're going to let him, if they're going to let him play NFL football for millions of dollars, we can put him on our tag team. But God, I wouldn't want him on my team. I'm not rooting for Matt's team, that's for sure. I boycott the games. My team boycotts the games. My team boycotts the games with Matt's teams. We forfeit.
Cooper Cup's tagging the shit out of Deshaun Watson.
Oh, hell yeah. Troy Apke's tagging the shit out of Deshaun Watson.
Alvin Kamara is going to run right over Deshaun Watson and so hard, and Deshaun Watson's going to like it. All right, let's move on.
All right, but if we had to talk about legendary players to be on your tag team, who would you want on that? Let's start with Danny.
Oh, legends. I mean, I've got to go Deion Sanders, number 1. He ran faster backwards than anybody's ever ran forwards pretty much in the 40. So, I mean, nobody's going to be able to touch Deion. Also, taggers. I mean, he could get in front of you and knock the ball away. So he's going to be a great tagger too. I mean,
we're talking like all sports, all time.
I was going with NFL mostly, but
no, we could go all sports. I got a couple guys too, but yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're opening it up to other sports, my number 1 of the bullet's going to be Wilt Chamberlain. But if we're sticking to just all-time NFL dudes, Barry Sanders.
The thing about Wilt is if you don't call no tag backs, Wilt's going to get you back every single time. That is an excellent
Immediately.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
You're not going to stick the long reach. Andy, you got anyone?
I was thinking Bo Jackson.
Bo's a good one. He was on my list. He was on my short list.
Oof.
My favorite has got to be Devin Hester. Good luck. Good luck catching him. Good luck. He's going to disappear. He can be in a crowd and he's gone.
He's got both the top end speed and the, as Danny puts it, elusivity.
I love making up words. There was one more I just got to throw out there for the older guys. Barry Sanders. I have to take this one from Al since he didn't go. He didn't go that way. I gotta take him. Missy actually brought him up to me when we were throwing out tag people. She said Barry Sanders. I had to do it.
Yeah, so no respect for like a Red Grange.
Oh, Red Grange is good. Red Grange is
I
good.
think Red Grange is like the most unathletic human ever. I feel like
You
I feel
watch
like
your
in
mouth, Alvin.
1920 guys were like, "Oh my God, he jumped," and now it's like, yeah, okay.
You had to get your ass muted here, Al. That's the galloping ghost. You put some respect on his name.
For
Others-
anyone who doesn't have any background, Andy's been muting people aggressively tonight in the college podcast. Go give that one a listen and make sure you hear the time where Danny and Al get muted. But
Yes.
I found the mute button and I'm gonna use it.
Not afraid to use it.
Thanks, Tony Reale. All right. So others receiving votes: John Ross and Kaylon Barnes. They tied for the fastest 40 times in the NFL. They were receiving votes for me. And Tyquan Thornton is the best ever 3-cone drill by like 0.2 of a second or something. He was like way better than anybody else at that. So those are the other guys I was thinking of.
I like Chris Johnson too.
Oh, Chris Johnson was a great one.
Chris Johnson was a monster when it was coming to getting the hell out of the way from being touched.
Not just getting out of the way. Chris Johnson, when other guys fumbled, he made tackles. Man, Chris Johnson would come back at people. He was tough.
It's like
He's a monster.
C2K. Is that who we're talking about?
C2K.
Mm-hmm.
Or CJ2K?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for playing this ridiculous game with us.
We can skip the picks. That was actually the best podcast we've ever done right there. Skip the picks.
The end of that. Well, thank you for riding on the best tag team. My team is the loser there. Don't vote for my team. If not, you're a monster. If you vote for my team, you're a real monster. Let's go to the Thursday night game. We got Atlanta going into Charlotte and Carolina Panthers. Andy has a pick here. Andy, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'm taking Carolina +3. I know they're not good, but honestly, neither are the Falcons. The Falcons really overachieved the first couple of weeks of the season. They've been slowly getting worse ever since. The Carolina Panthers are at home. Maybe they can figure out who's going to play quarterback this week. But when you get two teams that are both not very good, I'm going to take the points.
But one of the teams is actually pretty good. So I'm going to lay the points because one of the teams is not very good and the other is actually pretty good. So I'm laying these points. Atlanta's better.
This game befuddles me. You've got Atlanta that cannot stop covering. You have Carolina, who was complete ass and was total Badesville until they fired Matt Rule, and then all of a sudden they got spunk to them. I don't know which side I want to take, so I'm just not gonna bet it and not gonna watch it.
Well, there's no way I'm not gonna watch the Thursday night game.
Oh yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, I'll still be watching it.
It's a system play here for me. I'm going to bet on this game. I'm not going to bet either side. I'm going to lay the under at 43.5. I don't see Carolina scoring many points. But Atlanta's secondary isn't good, but I also don't see Atlanta scoring that many points. Let's just play the under. Thursday nights, it's the place to play it. Oh man, we're going over to Germany next, to the home of Bayern Munich, one of the formidable teams. Instead, we got two okay football teams coming into town. We got Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are playing a home game. And Danny, what's your play here?
Same play it's been for like the last, 6 weeks, ever since I started riding Geno Smith. And I'm just going to take the 2.5 points and keep riding Geno Smith. It's been working.
Andy, you're going to hate on Geno Smith more?
No, I think this is a super interesting game. We got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL playing against Tom Brady.
I love it.
I have been hating on Geno a lot. I took the week off from fading him 2 weeks ago. I was back on it last week, and he beat me. So this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet on Geno, but I'm going to give myself a little cushion. I'm going to tease this one. I'm going to take the Seattle +2.5 up to +8.5. Just give myself a little bit more cushion there. Weird stuff happens when they play out of the country. Maybe you're right, but it's also entirely possible that now that I'm actually betting on Geno for the first time this season, that this is the one they lose by 40. So
take the money line.
Way to ruin the Seahawks' chances in the playoffs, Andy. Now you're going back on them. Now, do you guys feel any better about Tom Brady and the Bucs after watching that Sunday afternoon game? I felt like exactly the same.
Same.
That they're not very good, right?
Mhm.
Like them in LA are like they're mirror images of teams that are not good.
I'm
It's,
sticking with my analysis that Tom Brady is a average quarterback unless he's throwing to the best tight end that's ever existed.
Yeah.
I
think that's
think
part of
Tom
it.
Brady. Oh, go ahead.
I also think historically the best way to beat Tom Brady is to pressure him, and their O-line is garbage. They had so many injuries in the offseason. They're piecing together a line, and people are able to pressure him, and that's always how you've been able to beat Tom Brady. So you combine that with not having Gronk, and yeah.
I think that situation, that scenario that he found himself in, 45 seconds left, 50 yards to go, is maybe a daunting one for many, but someone who's done it, 20, 30 times before, that it was way too easy. The Rams were just giving him everything underneath, and they were just taking it. And that one drive is not necessarily emblematic of the season we're seeing from Tom Brady. So I hope he's washed because I love watching him get pissed and frustrated. But still a very impressive drive to win that one and win me my Chuggy bet. So I think I'll cut him a little bit of slack.
Tom
Little
Brady
side note.
points. Tom Brady points his last 5 games: 16, 22, 3, 18, 21. Just throwing that out there.
A little side note: who is it more fun to watch get pissed, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
I was going to say,
Ooh, Aaron Rodgers.
it's a tie.
Aaron
It's
Rodgers.
exactly a tie.
It's a lot of fun in both cases.
No, I almost feel more bad for Tom Brady than I do. Like he's just so obsessed with football. He's like letting it all ruin his life. Like Aaron Rodgers, you're a drug addict. That you I don't feel as bad for you. You're like choosing to be a piece of shit by dating crystal worshiping weirdos. Like Tom, you're obsessed with your job and you're letting it ruin your family life. I don't know. I'm not saying I can relate to that, but
It's Tom Brady is not pitiable, and Aaron Rodgers is also not pitiable. Those are listen. This isn't a guy that's like working 3 jobs and like is never at home, doesn't have time to see his kids. He could have retired fucking 20 years ago and been a multimillionaire forever.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, you know what? I need to stick it out one more time for the 30th time. Fuck Tom Brady, fuck Aaron Rodgers. I hope they both burn their dicks off in hell. That's harsh. That's harsh. I hope they lose. I hope they lose more than they win.
Not to make this about me, Al, but I'm not working 3 jobs either.
On that. What?
I'm not working 3 jobs either. I don't actually need to work this much extra hard. I kind of can relate to Tom Brady on this front with his job thing.
Yeah. Do you make $40 million a year?
No, and I don't even like what I do.
Yeah. Shit, they probably don't either. It sure doesn't look like Aaron Rodgers likes what he does. The highlight of Aaron Rodgers' day is shitting on his teammates, and that I can respect.
Yeah.
All right.
I was talking more about Tom Brady than Aaron Rodgers, but yeah.
Next.
Let's move it over to Buffalo. Minnesota is coming into Buffalo. It's really a high impact game. The line opened up at 7.5. There is a rumor that Josh Allen suffered a UCL injury. And if the UCL injury, I don't know if he's a baseball pitcher, but that's Tommy John traditionally when you have a UCL injury. So I do not know what that is here. I originally bet the -7.5 because I think this is a great spot for Buffalo to prove that they are the champs and they are to be here, and Minnesota is a little bit overvalued. I absolutely hate that if Case Keenum is the starter. I want that on the front end.
That's who their backup is, Case Keenum?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a UCL thing, but lots of pitchers pitched through that for a little while. Not to great success, but they all come back from the surgery very well. That's sort of the history of that on a different sport. this line is not available right now, but I was going to take the 7.5 even without it, because Kirk Cousins.
You were gonna take it, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to take it even without that information, because Kirk Cousins is the man.
He's the man.
And this is a 1:00 game, and Kirk Cousins is going to have the ball at some point between 3:30 and 4, which means he's going to throw at least 1.5 touchdown passes. I mean, that's the over under between that time for Kirk Cousins.
Danny,
So-
do you you set an alarm on your phone for Sundays at 3:30 to just live bet the Vikings?
Yes, I'm watching Red Zone every day between 3 and 4, and when the Vikings are down, did you not see all the bets that I sent you
Well,
that I won on
sometimes there's
Minnesota
other
last week?
games you're paying attention to. So, you know,
The Dolphins were playing a really good game against.
Oh, hey.
The Dolphins were playing a really good game against the Bears, and you saw the live bets I had on the Vikings. I sent you.
Yeah. Okay, touche.
So
I got
this will
yelled
be
at by
dependent on the
Dolphins
Josh.
fan.
This will be dependent on the Allen injury news, but this line were to close in the 7.5 range. It's a perfect teaser spot. It's at 6.5, which is not a long teaser, so I won't be playing it now. But if it goes back up, if it turns out that he is playing, I would think about putting that one in a teaser.
Yeah, and we're recording this on Monday, right? Monday Night Football just ended, so there is a lot more information to be upcoming soon, and I'm sure you will hear no shortage of it if you listen to ESPN or anything else. Let's go to Chicago, where, an NFC North battle. We got the Lions coming into Soldier Field. It looks like Al and Danny have the same play. Al, start us off.
Yeah, so we've seen what the Bears have done recently. Justin Fields has taken control of the offense, not necessarily thriving, but they do not look as incompetent as they did recently. On the other side, you've got a Lions defense that has sort of come to life recently. They have held, after giving up like a ton of points their first 5 weeks, they've held their last three opponents to like a respectable 60, about 20 points per game, and 9 points against the Packers.
Is Miami an outlier there?
They give up 31 to Miami, 24 to Dallas, and then 9 to the Packers. The defense is getting their shit together, and that means that nothing with the Lions is ever gold. It's always a mirage. So the defense is going to shit the bed, and the Bears defense, as you saw, the Dolphins rack it up on them. I think we have a good opportunity on the over. All of that. That was a lot of just hot air, but over 48.5 is the bet I like.
I'm with you on the 48.5. I'm with you on the 48.5, and I think this one is low because people are still underestimating the Bears. I think that they have turned their offense around a little bit. I think that they have kind of released Justin Fields, and I think that he's starting to feel a whole lot more comfortable. We talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago where he was like doing breathing exercises on the sideline and was like looked really nervous. And I think that when like you get him running around on the sideline, like his adrenaline starts flowing and he starts thinking instead or playing instead of thinking or reacting instead of thinking, and he just plays a lot better. So I think that he's one of those guys who like needs the contact or needs the aggressive part of football to be able to play better, and their whole offense plays better when he's playing that way. So they've started allowing him to do a whole lot more of that, and their offense is playing better. And if you add that to playing against pretty bad Lions offense or a pretty bad Lions defense, and Detroit's offense has been pretty good. Chicago's defense, you said that they've been playing better, but I mean Miami put up 31, and it was pretty easy for us to put up that 31. Like we turned the ball over a couple of times, and there was a lot of yards in that game. So I think that this could be a really high scoring game. So over 48.5 doesn't seem like it'll be a real tough one to get over.
I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for scoring. Whether or not those turndowns, we'll see. But I think
that's a good point.
Regardless, I'm happy to and hope that we have a barn burn.
Yeah. Lions have been bend but don't break a little more lately, I guess is a good way to put it. If you're saying that they've been better.
I also think a mobile quarterback is cripper any defense that's trying to get their shit together.
Yeah. Al, you got to play on Kansas City, Jacksonville, because I really wanted to bet Jacksonville, but I refrained. Did you end up making this play? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 9.5 with the Chiefs.
Oh, you went the other way.
Jags.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Jags have been good and can be good and may continue to be good. I think Trevor Lawrence has good control of the offense and is able to move the ball, but they do have red zone issues. The Chiefs haven't really looked like the Chiefs this year so much. They've been able to move the ball, but much like the Jags have had a little more trouble actually punching it in than we're used to seeing with the Chiefs offense. I think that kind of changes this week. I don't think the Jags defense is particularly good. Not to say that they're bad, but it's not anything the Chiefs should be worried about. I think the Chiefs defense will definitely have wrinkles for the Jags. I can see this one being a big time blowout, but all I need is 10. So give me the -9.5. Love it.
I like it. I think the next game we have on our list is Cleveland, Miami. I like the over in this game. Cleveland to the Jets, which the Jets have a decent defense. Went way over, I believe. I think that game was like 30. There was like 55 points or so in that game. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but Miami's offense has been great and our defense hasn't. We're going to let up points to Cleveland. So I expect this to be kind of a barn burner. So I like the over 48.5. Andy, you got a thought on this one?
Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland and the 4 points. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that the Dolphins beat them by 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like I said the same thing last week. But I just can't trust the Dolphins while their defense is playing this bad. I know that the quarterback will be significantly less talented and less mobile playing Cleveland than they were when we faced Justin Fields last week, but they still got weapons, right? They've got Amari Cooper. They've got 2 really good running backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Until I see something from our defense, I'm just not trusting the Dolphins to run away with anything, no matter how good our offense is. So I'll take Cleveland in the 4 and kind of hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm
The thing is, 4 isn't running away with it.
Oh.
I mean, we could beat them by 4. I think that a push is very likely for you here, but that'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm with Danny on the over here again. Another over 48.5. Browns games are high scoring. Dolphins games high scoring. I wanted to lay the points with the Dolphins, but I was like, it seems like the over is a much smarter play. That said, I'm sure this will look stupid, and this one will be like a super low scoring one. Because whenever you think you got the NFL pinned down, they definitely throw you some wrinkles. But over 48.5 seems too easy to miss.
Yeah, you can never grab.
Tua will break a pinky in the first half, and we'll stop the run for the first time in a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden it'll be like 3-3 in the third quarter.
Yeah, let's go to New York. Houston Texans going into the Giants. Andy and Danny have a play. Oh, I love this. Let's start off with Andy first, and I'll let Danny recant.
So I'm laying the points with the Giants. It's just under a touchdown. It's 6.5. The Texans have been better at home. They covered last week on Thursday night against the Eagles, but that was in Houston. The Giants are coming off of a bye, so they're going to be nice and rested. The Texans will have a few extra days since they played Thursday night, but not the same as coming off a bye. And I'm just not going to trust the fighting Lovie Smiths on the road. So I will lay less than a touchdown here with the Giants.
So I think the bye is being overvalued because they played on Thursday. One of the reasons I'm taking the 6.5. The other thing is this is more of one of my like kind of weirdo conspiracy theories, but the 6.5 stinks, right? I think that nobody wants to have the Texans plus 6.5, right? Nobody out there that's gambling wants to be rooting for the Texans plus 6.5. People in New York love betting the Giants. They'll lay the 6.5. There's a lot of gamblers out there in New York laying the 6.5 because they want to bet the Giants. and nobody wants to have the 6.5. So I'm thinking that maybe there's some value here because nobody wants it. It's really it's one of my thoughts here.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting game because I think the Giants are still overvalued, but the Texans hoop,
Well,
especially away from home.
I think their record is better than the team still. I don't believe in them yet, I guess is kind of where I'm at. Like I still think that they should be like their record should be reversed. Right?
Oh,
They
you
should
saying the
be
Giants? For
the
sure,
Giants,
yeah.
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 I don't get whether everyone loves them. It's a New York thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's the Giants." They love them up in New York. Like the Jets are like, "Oh, forget about them."
It's still
Everyone's a
Daniel
Giants.
Jones, It's still Daniel Jones. Like I know he can run and he's an interesting
Yeah, he can
quarterback,
do something.
but no. I'm gonna take this terrible bet that I don't want to have because sometimes I think the terrible bet you don't want to have is a smart bet.
I agree. Speaking of terrible bets, let's go to Pittsburgh, where we have the New Orleans Saints going in. All right, guys, listen. This bet looks real stinky. Pittsburgh on a bye. Kenny Pickett getting more acclimated to the system. I don't believe in New Orleans, especially away from the Superdome. Even then, I don't think this New Orleans team is particularly good. Hold your noses. Take the 2.5 with Pittsburgh. If it gets the 3, really take the 3 because the worst case scenario, I think this is going to be a close game. Pittsburgh's defense is still really good, and I think they're going to frustrate whoever the hell is the New Orleans starting quarterback that day. If it's Dalton, if it's Taysom Hill, if Jameis Winston comes back, doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a frustrating day. Michael Thomas is not going to be there, their best deep threat. I think this is a good spot for Pittsburgh. I'd look at Pittsburgh on the money line as well. Stinks. Stinky line, I admit. And that's a team that hasn't been playing particularly well, but this looks like a spot Pittsburgh is going to win.
For all the talk of the guys like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin's still the best coach in the NFL and has been for 15 years or whatever. So I'm gonna New Orleans. Who's New Orleans coach right now? I don't even remember. It's not what's his face anymore. It's who's their coach now?
I don't know. Actually, sadly.
I don't know their coach. Anyway,
the defensive coordinator took over, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't remember his name though.
Let's do.
He was good. He was good. He was
Dennis
the one that.
Allen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dennis Allen.
Anyway, he's not Mike Tomlin, man.
I agree. I
like this bet. I'm going to tease it. I'm going to tease it with Andy when it's going to be a part of my teaser plays this week.
Yeah, I agree with Matt 100%. Everything he said. If it stays at 2.5, I'm going to tease it up to 8.5. If it hits 3 or 3.5, I'll just bet it straight up by itself. In addition to everything he said, correct me if I'm wrong. Pittsburgh didn't play last week, right? They're coming off their bye.
No, they were on a bye.
And the Saints played Monday night. So not only is Pittsburgh coming off a bye, Saints are coming off a short week, having to travel to Pittsburgh. Everything makes me want to take Pittsburgh here. So if it stays at 2.5, or I'll take it straight up if it goes to 3 or 3.5.
Yeah, and look, it doesn't feel good taking Pittsburgh in the circumstances that they're in, as far as especially offensively. And they got rid of Claypool. They got a lot of issues on the offensive side, but this may be an under. I don't even know what the number is, but it's going to be a stinky, smelly game. But Pittsburgh can pull those out, especially at Heinz Field. That's now like an insurance company field. Let's go to Tennessee, where we got the I can't even think about the Broncos without thinking of Russell Wilson's stupid ass. The Broncos going into Tennessee. It looks like, Al, you got to play on this, right?
Has the narrative turned on Russell Wilson? I don't mean to get away from picks, but has the narrative turned on Russell Wilson yet? Are we starting to get? Is he starting to go from being like everybody's making fun of him to everybody's feeling bad for him yet? Or
no, I don't think so. I think that everyone's really.
If anything, I would say the fact that the Broncos' record is they're above 500, right? They're like 6-3. Might be a reason why some opinion might change on him, but they are that record despite him and not because of him.
So
yeah.
Can I do a little Al here?
Yes.
So most of the time when I think back to my high school days, I think that there were some people that I wasn't very nice to, and I feel bad about that, right? I've grown as a person. I'm a better human being now than I was then. Thank you. Not all the time, right? I'm still mean to you guys sometimes, but in general. But Russell Wilson makes me wish we were in high school so I could bully him. Like, the man needs to be bullied. It's so cringy. Like, some bully needs to give him a wedgie and shove his head in the toilet to get him to stop doing all this cringy stuff. Bullies play a role, and it's to get people to stop doing cringy shit like this.
Austin and I talk about this a lot. So bullying is bad a lot of the time, but sometimes bullying works. And I'm not gonna go on record and saying I'm pro bullying, but if somebody's not wearing deodorant, sometimes the right thing to do is to laugh at them because they smell, and that's bullying. Because if you make fun of them when they smell, then they wear deodorant, and then they don't smell anymore. So you've actually done them a service by bullying them.
Danny, are you wearing deodorant?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good deal. Does Austin bully you? Are you being bullied?
No. But this is actually a thing that we both did to kids in middle school that we felt bad about later. But then we thought, oh no, we don't have to feel bad about it because they started wearing deodorant and then they didn't smell anymore. So we did.
There is some positivity to reinforcement, yes.
Yeah.
Like in reinforcing the social norms for sure. Yeah, let's move on to. We don't have this is the first time in ChuggieBets history we don't have a play on a game. Well, we could talk about the Colts.
Matt, we didn't actually talk. We didn't actually tell the Tennessee plays.
Oh my God, did I not? I'm sorry.
I have a play on the Colts game too.
Hang on. So I'm laying 3 with the Titans because fuck Russ and the Broncos, and I'm fading them. Also, I think the Titans are kind of pretty good.
Under 39 because neither of these teams can score points.
Sorry, I fucked up the whole podcast. I will drink this beer as a penalty, but
you didn't fuck up nothing.
You're good.
We're in the clear.
We're just so excited. Danny's take made me so happy. It's so joyous. It was a fun take, and I got lost. I got lost in the sauce.
Pro bullying makes everybody happy.
We just provided a perfect example of when bullying works. Matt, we mixed the game. Drink a beer. That's bullying.
Yeah, I will. I'll be glad. So before I drink this beer, we got the Colts going into the Raiders. I know.
Don't know why this game's off the board for me. But I'm gonna lay the points with the Colts.
With the Raiders.
No, taking the points. Take the points with the Colts. Sorry.
Should we pour one out for Frank Reich?
Well, yeah. So are you a believer in Jeff Saturday or a believer in Sam Ehlinger?
I think that Saturday is a great Sunday coach.
Ooh.
No, it's more of a you get a rookie quarterback after a couple of days. He's going to make a couple less mistakes after a couple of games. I'm more of a believer in Jonathan Taylor being better in the second half of the season. I've said that a lot of times, and we're getting later in the season.
Waiting for it to happen, and now we're in the second half.
Every fantasy player who drafted first, they're all waiting for that.
I know they're all waiting for this to happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna start. He's gonna start picking up. This is 200-yard game incoming at some point in the second half. You're looking,
why not?
Total
why not this one?
I know in English soccer leagues and a few other places, there's a new manager bump a lot of the times, as far as like you always take the team that fired their coach the week before. I don't know if that's a thing in the NFL, but it may be interesting to look at that.
It happened in college football this year.
I'll say former all-pro center taking over a head coach, having a second a running back who excels in the second half of the season. Danny might be onto something here, but I think Andy said it first. Let's pour one out for our boy Frank Reich.
R.I.P. Frank Reich. Thank you for your service.
Time. Hopefully, third time's a charm.
It seems a little unfair to fire a man when you look at like the string of quarterbacks that he's had. But I guess part of that's on him, right? Like I assume he was in these meetings like, no, I can make Matt Ryan work. No, I can make Phillip Rivers work, right? Like if those are front office decisions like pushed onto him, then I feel bad for the man. Like he doesn't deserve that. But if those were his decisions, then then I guess he deserves it.
Do you think he's a guy who makes chicken salad out of chicken shit, or he's a chef that specializes in cooking chicken shit? Like, it's one of those things. Like, I understand. Like, hey, I got a weird quarterback. It's Phillip Rivers. Well, he can make 11-6 happen. Bam, bam. Or does he just love shitty old quarterbacks and he's just like,
I think he's a guy who tries to sell you healthy food, but it just doesn't taste good.
He's a wheatgrass shot salesman. He's
But
like,
here's some avocado toast, low sodium avocado toast. And you're like, oh, so it literally just tastes like nothing? Yeah.
You're not a
That's
man
my
who
crack.
loves avocado toast?
I love avocado toast, but you need some salt
okay.
or something on there. Well,
Okay.
without that, that's the real star of that motherfucker.
That's the Jonathan Taylor. Just a bam.
You're telling me
right.
you eat avocado, you just scoop that shit out, put it on bread, and eat it as is? Hell no.
Fuck no, I don't.
Everything bagel seasoning.
Wait. What a game changer. Honestly, a game changer.
Yeah.
Everything but the bagel seasoning.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Trader
so easy,
Joe's
so delicious.
Let's go to Green Bay. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming off a bye facing Green Bay, who's lost 5 straight games. I am going to take the points with Green Bay, 5.5. The reasoning is Aaron Rodgers can't continue to be this bad. 5.5 is a large number. It actually makes me feel better that it's over like the 3 or 4 number. I feel like NFL games always end up in 3 or 4s. Aaron Rodgers has been dreadful, right? And that team has been really bad. And I don't expect Green Bay to
You're
win.
making a great case for Dallas and
the
I know. I realize how much I hate it.
Matt, can you say that again? Can you just say it again?
Aaron
Green Bay's
Rodgers
been what?
dreadful, and Green Bay has been really bad this year.
Ooh.
But I don't think they're going to continue to be this bad. I think there's gotta be some balancing out. There has to be a recalibration coming, and I don't know if they'll beat Dallas. Dallas has got a premium defense, and defense travels, especially to cold weather. When they have no talent, and Green Bay made no effort to get a wide receiver at the deadline. But I still think the play is they were unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
Made an effort.
We don't trade.
Did you see what Claypool went for? They weren't going to do that.
A second, right?
No, I think they got a first for him. Anyway, like it made me feel really good about the Tyreek Hill trade.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel really good about Green Bay being able to cover the 5.5 here. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to find his special sauce a little bit more. And I know Dallas is really monopolized on the special teams. I don't think they're going to monopolize on the special teams here in these conditions. So take the 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going under 43 for all the reasons Matt said.
Sure. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just playing the stinky games of the week. Let's take it over to Los Angeles. We got the Cardinals and the Call of Duty champion Kyler Murray coming into the Los Angeles Rams. Danny, start us off, bud.
So Rams defense still good. Rams offense not good anymore. They've been dictating games because all their games have been super low scoring. So under 43.5.
Yeah, this feels like a spot. If the LA Rams are going to do anything this year, this game has to be red. I don't believe in Arizona. I know DeAndre Hopkins has brought new life and like kind of revived the program there. They're not very good. And they scored their first touchdown in the first quarter this week. Did you know that? They hadn't scored a touchdown in the first quarter through the first 8 to 9 weeks until this week. They've been dreadful offensively. I think Kingsbury is a dead man walking there for a while now. I don't think him and the high-paid quarterback get along, and when that happens, the coach gets axed for the most part. I don't think they're going to end up being very good, and I think the Rams is the right situation here. I think they're going to show their veteran muscle. I think Stafford's got to eventually be the Matt Stafford that everyone expects. You're going to see the champion and not the chump that's been around. Lay the 3 with the LA Rams.
I don't like it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Let me just offer a little bit of a counter argument here. They only managed to hang 13 on the Bucks.
Hmm.
Not a particularly great defense. They got blown out by the 49ers and only put 14 up on them. They scored, 10 points against Dallas, 9 points against the 49ers in their first matchup. The only time since their Week 3 win over the Cardinals that they've scored 20 points or more.
What was that
is,
Week 3
again-
win?
Which one?
What was the Week 3 win again?
Cardinals.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood that.
Okay.
Right. Over the Cardinals. Okay, go ahead.
Was the the Carolina, I think still Matt Rule led Carolina Panthers and they
Yeah, it
hung
was.
24 on. So it's been pretty much 5 awful games by just straight up bad Rams offense, and the defense can only bail them out so many times before.
I love that in
they-
most of those games where you were saying all those terrible point totals, they won. That's why I'm going
No.
under 43.5.
They're
They're
like
1
3.
they're 1-4 in their last 4.
Yeah,
The
well,
last 5.
all those totals went under.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
Danny's got the right play here. I'm just look. I just don't believe in Arizona. If it was 3.5, I wouldn't make this bet. We
Yeah,
just had
I
an
don't like Arizona either. I just
No, they beat the Cardinals already, and I know they have Hopkins now, right? You replaced DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
with Mario
and that
Brown.
matters.
I know. I get it, dude. I also don't think they weren't playing at home the first time. I think that's going to matter a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know if LA has any home field advantage. Look, dude, just lay the 3. I don't give a shit. Or don't lay the 3. I do not care. Fade it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm laying the 3.
Oh, Matt, I fucking love it. That's so good. The Rams are gonna smoke them. Cardinals are ass
There you
too,
go.
though.
Bad. Both teams are real.
There's some like
It's crazy
dysfunction
that
happening there.
DeAndre
I
Hopkins
actually-
isn't bad.
I actually
Yeah,
think the Seahawks are the second best team in the NFC West. Like, this is not like cute anymore. Like, Kenneth Walker's made them really good, and they may be the best. I think San Francisco is formidable, right? I don't think it matters what
Yeah.
quarterback they have. That team is well built. The Rams are doo doo. They're boo boo, but so are the Cardinals.
Seahawks are winning the NFC.
God, I hope so. That would be the best if Russell Wilson doesn't make the playoffs in the Seahawks.
Literally
49ers are good.
Literally, the best thing that could happen is if the quarterback that the Jets took in the first round wins the Super Bowl, while the quarterback that the Jets have that they took in the first round loses in the first round of the playoffs. That would just make me so happy.
No, it'd be better if the Jets didn't make the playoffs.
Can I make the agenda better? So, everything you said, the next year Matt Darnold goes to the Giants. They win 14 games and win the Super Bowl, and the Jets don't make the playoffs.
Oh, that'd be the best. That'd be the best. If Sam Darnold changes his name to Matt and then goes to the
Matt Darnold.
goes to the Giants. All right, we have Chuggies to give out. Does anybody who has Chuggies to give out?
I do not. I will.
I definitely have one.
Al has like 3 Chuggies to give out because of his NFL week or something, and I have one.
Well, no,
think
Andy
Al-
has one for
Al
sure.
and
'Cause
each
you had
have
a
one.
top buck. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
So,
I didn't.
Alright.
Matt, drink one. Or both. That's fine.
Danny, why don't you drink
There's
the
not
other
much
one?
left.
All right.
There's not much left.
All right. I know we're not supposed to give out the late night games, but go under on both because I'm going to break the rules. Go under on both. Go under.
Seems fair.
Nice.
Andy,
All right,
do
let's
you
do-
have a you want to lock in what your Chuggy bet is this week?
Yeah, I'm going to. I kind of want to do the Giants, but I don't want to argue with Danny again. So instead, I'm going to lock in my teaser as my Chuggy bet. It's Seattle and Pittsburgh are the 2 teams I'm teasing. Both of them up from 2.5 to 8.5.
Okay.
I can lock mine in. I'm going to do the Texans plus 6.5 because I can't be wrong every time I'm against Andy. Like one of these times I have to be right.
You're not against
Yeah.
him this time, bud. He backed off. Al, what do you
No,
want to do?
he has minus 6.5, right?
Yeah.
Not on the
Giants,
Chuggy.
Texans. Yeah. I'm just not Chuggy betting fighting him.
So, Chuggy bets. When it comes to the NFL, I think we've made Chuggy bets in 8 weeks out of the now we're going into the 10th week here, so I think it's just week 1 we weren't doing it. But I lost my first chuggy bet of the season, and I've since won 7 straight chuggy bets. So I've been telling you, tail me on these picks. It's starting to get a little hairy on a little stressful trying to pick the game here to make sure I'm locking in another winner for you guys. So I wanted to bring this big bad boy into consideration here. This is an
Ooh.
Ice House Edge 24-ounce, 8% alcohol by volume. Beautiful thing. It looks absolutely disgusting. This is what I will be chugging if this bet doesn't hit.
That looks like a fight in a can.
I'm hoping I
I was
never
gonna say
have
the
to, I'm
same thing.
hoping I never have to open this. We're laying the points with the Chiefs. Chiefs minus 9.5. Let's fucking go.
Question for you: was that cold at one point and then warm, and now is it going to be cold again when you drink it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
extra snuggy Ice House.
Is that going to
Yeah.
be warm again if you win? Is it going to be cold again now and then warm again if you win again and then cold again if you drink it?
Yeah, you're just gonna resnug
Yeah, I
it.
mean, every
Get it
time
out
it
of the
comes
fridge.
out, it's gonna have been sitting here for an hour. So yeah. So it's just gonna get grosser
This
every
is
week.
going to be like quadruple skunked Ice House Edge by the time
I
you
might-
lose.
I might literally die if I miss one. If I miss a
They're
chuggy
bad
bet before the
decisions,
end of the season.
That's actually botulism. That can
Yeah.
actually has botulism. It went back to like the 1940s.
Al, if the can has dents in it, you're going to need to go get a new one.
Yeah. So far we're
I
good.
think-
Didn't clear.
I am gonna do this, and I hate it. I'm gonna take Green Bay plus 5.5. A really bad Green Bay team, but I'm gonna do it as my chuggy bet. It feels so bad. I hate it.
Oh,
Why would you do that?
It's because I love
Matt,
winning.
you sound like
Same
a
reason I am on
Mormon. You
Texans
sound like
plus
a
6.5,
Mormon trying to
which feels-
preach about Joseph Smith.
I feel like I feel
Like
like
you don't even believe it as you're saying it, but like you know you have to say it.
No,
I
I
picked
know.
my
I
worst
don't,
feeling bet of the week too. I understand. Sometimes
I
you just
don't
want
love
one that nobody
any of
wants.
my bets this week. I like the Pittsburgh one the most, but that one seems. I hate 2.5. 2.5 is too tight. If it was 3, I would do it. All right, everybody.
I'm just spamming every game, hoping I can catch up.
Same here, man. Everyone's got such a massive record. Andy and Al have been so good this year. I think that's it from us. We've been here for an hour with you guys. Thank you for riding along with us in this journey of alcoholism and football gambling. We appreciate it. Please feel free to message what tag team you would like the most. It's really, really important. So please feel free to contribute there. I got Danny above me, Andy in the corner, Al to the side. Thanks for joining us, and good night, Al. Good night, Joey.
Good night, Matt. Good night, Joey.
Good night, Al.
Good night, guys.